Well, first, Putin the Cat has to get some of his telepathic energies from the Christmas tree here, and that's why he hangs out underneath it. So he's going to talk about the Mayan calendar. There are some that theorize that the Mayan calendar has been a year off. So I had to consult the oracle, Putin the Cat, and he got his healing ways off the Christmas tree first, because it's coming up on Christmas. And I don't think the Mayan calendar is going to be the Grinch that stole Christmas, but, I'm going to say this, though. You should always be prepared. You should always be prepared. Not to be a worrywart, not to be, ridiculous about it, like you're always like, the sky's going to fall every freaking day, because having a negative attitude and always worrying about stuff isn't good for your health anyway, but just chill out and do the stuff. Don't think about it and do your job. Your job is to actually partly be prepared for contingencies. And, get here, buddy. He's going to steal the other guy's food, man. So, Putin the Cat likes stealing the other guy's food. That's what he does a lot. So, anyway, he's a little crook like Putin the animal, the human, too. The animal's a little like human. He steals the other guy's stuff. But, last year, it was like between December 3rd and December 21st, there was like a certain amount of minutes. It was 18 days, and they said, divided by 3, that's 666. And they had said it was the number of minutes between the December 3rd and December 21st is also happened to be the number of years in the progression of the equinox. And, nothing happened, right? So, and, but there's other people that have been saying it's off a year. Now, I'm going to put something out that's a little more common sense, because what's obvious is that there's a lot of weird weather things going on. And some people are saying it's because of global warming and all this other garbage. But I don't think it's all from global warming. I think global warming is pretty damn insignificant of what changes the weather. Actually, the sun changes the weather a hell of a lot more than man-made global warming from, gases coming from cars that could ever could. The sun does a lot more, has a lot more influence on the weather. And, just recently, it was snowing in Cairo, in Egypt, first time it ever happened in 112 years, and at the same time it was raining in Scandinavia. There's been record floods in the Midwest where there was never floods. Houses that were newly constructed were in 10 feet of water. And then the next year, we had a record drought that went all the way back where it was not as much of a drought up until 1936. This all happened in the last few years. And it's not just going on in the United States, it's going on in Russia, it's going on in Australia. The weather patterns are getting all screwy, And then you're seeing stuff happening with the fish are going up on the water, they're hitting the beach and stuff, and getting disorientated. And actually I've even seen some things from years ago where I think they're called the Intuit Indians instead of the Eskimos, but whatever they're called. I know them as the Eskimos, and nothing derogatory about that, I'm saying. But they have observed many weather changes in when the sun sets, star patterns, and that they've seen the same for many generations, and it's changed. And we also have the movement of the magnetic north, which is moving towards Siberia. And they say when it gets in the middle that there'll be a polar flip and all this kind of stuff, the magnetic polar flip. And I don't know what all this junk means. I hope nothing happens, but then again, something could. Now, it looks like if you go back historically, I'm putting this out plain common sense. It may be a little boring. I don't know. I'm not trying to really scare the crap out of people and excite them, But I'm saying there's probably something to this stuff. It's actually you shouldn't be a worrywart about it, but you should prepare for contingencies and not go hog wild into it. Because who the hell knows? Something might happen, even if I am being accurate in saying these things might happen. They might happen 50 or 100 years from now. I don't know. But what piqued my interest is that, it seems like a lot more of these events have been happening with the weather, where there's extreme changes in weather in the last few years. that have been going on, and it's never happened before in many years. And, there's a lot of different things going on where they say the sunspots are more active and all this type of stuff. So, if you look back way historically, it looks like about 13,000 or maybe 15,000 years ago, there was a major cataclysmic destruction on the earth. And, when I look at some of these ancient structures that exist today, I realize that, either, I don't buy the alien theory too much. I don't buy into that. I have an open mind on it, but I don't buy into it. It seems that people had a hell of a lot more knowledge on how to do, make things in an accurate fashion than they do even today. And, what might have happened that there might have been a cataclysmic problem across the earth. And, the pyramids were damaged and all these major structures were damaged. And maybe this, what I've been reading is that it happens every 13,000 years. That doesn't mean it's going to happen in 2 weeks, But then again, who the hell knows? Maybe the Mayans did know something. Maybe the theorists that are saying the Mayan calendar should be 2013, or between the end of 2013 and beginning of 2014 versus last year. Maybe they're correct. I don't know. I hope they're wrong. To tell you the truth, I don't want to go through that crap. But who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? But I should point this out because I don't want to cry wolf too much. I don't like people that say that, because first off, people that always dramatize this stuff, they actually make people numb to any kind of contingency that could possibly come up. And you don't want to be that way. You want to actually prepare for contingencies up to a point. Actually, if you ignore all this Mayan calendar stuff, solar flare stuff, cosmic rays, and comets that could hit the earth and all this other stuff, and you say nothing could possibly happen, there's always something that can happen. There could be a terrorist dirty bomb, like a dirty atomic bomb, that is set off in a financial district in Wall Street sometime, and could create havoc in the markets and disarray and all this other garbage. You don't know. Something like that can always happen. Not that you want to dwell on that, because dwelling on that is not good for you to dwell on that stuff. But you should not be like an ostrich and stick your head in a hole and say that'll never happen. Because, history's full of events that never could happen. I mean, that's how they become history. That's how they became written down. Oh, that'll never happen. It didn't happen. Then it's an historical event, and they wrote it down. It's like a lot of things. Expect the unexpected. Don't worry about it too much. I ain't into that garbage. Like that. But I just want to say that I hope this shit don't happen. To tell you the truth, man, I ain't rooting for the Mayan calendar to happen. I'll guarantee you I am not rooting for it. I am not really worried about it, because whatever happens, happens, right? But there's a lot of people out there predicting that it's possibly actually was off a year. And if that's the case, well, I'll be signing off YouTube for a while, if that's the case. But if that's not the case, I'll still be on YouTube. How's that? I'll be on shortwave YouTube, whatever. But I don't buy into it. But I just want to point out that, you should actually always prep. Not be like a worrywart prepper, like the sky's going to fall. Don't walk around with a tinfoil hat. But it's not stupid to prep. It's not. Because there's always something that can happen. There always is. Just that you don't want to freaking worry about it too much. You just want to kind of do a little bit here and there. A little bit here and there. So there are indications, though, that, and I'm not rooting for this, believe me, that the Mayan calendar is off a year. I'll believe it when I see it, to tell you the truth. I'm of that persuasion. But there are indications out there that the Mayan calendar has been erroneously told to happen in December 21st, 2012. And they had all these freaking zillion of predictions out there with the numbers, like, when they had the 3 planets line up over the pyramids of Giza on December 3rd, and they had, that was 18 days to the 21st, from December 3rd to 21st. Divide that by 3, that's 666. And the exact number of minutes in the 18 days was the exact number of years in the progression of the equinox. And nothing happened. But it did snow in Cairo recently, so who the hell knows, man? Who the hell knows? But you know, if it don't happen this year, that don't mean it's never going to happen. Because there is something funky going on with the weather. And there's something funky going on with fish from the oceans and rivers beaching themselves on the ground because they get disorientated. And that's probably because of, you know, the magnetic north moving, you know. And there is something funky going on with the bee die-off, too. You know how the bees are dying off? I mean, that's real, man. That's dangerous crap. If the bees die off is really bad, we're going to have major food shortages. If the weather doesn't stabilize better, we're going to have major food shortages, too. You know, it's like you can have it cold all the time in one place and hot and all the time in another place. You know, if it stabilizes, they can plan where the best places to grow crops are. But if you have this fluke weather that comes out from nowhere, one time it's like the all-time worst drought since 1936, and then at other times, you know, the water's 10 feet high on the ground, you know. It's like just some weird shit going on. And it's quite obvious. It's quite obvious. So I do have to say that, you know, even though the fearmongers are fearmongers, and I don't like them. I don't like them for that reason. You should not stick your head in a hole like an ostrich and ignore everything. So keep on prepping, dudes and women's. Do it all. Keep prepping because, you know, not to worry about it. But, you know, keep calmly doing your stuff because at one point in time it may happen. You know, I can't buy into this Mayan calendar stuff for 2013 at the end of the year. But, you know, I hope it don't. That's because I don't want it to happen. You know what I mean? I don't want it to happen. But then again, if it happens, I'm pretty well prepped. If there's ever like a solar flare that knocks out the you know, the infrastructure, the electrical grid, it ain't gonna bother me none. None at all. As a matter of fact, if YouTube is still up, and the internet's still up, and the power structure's down, I'll be online. Just I don't have any viewers, you know? Because everybody else would be offline. But that's the whole deal. That's the whole deal. I'm putting a good dose of reality to it. And a good dose of reality is, if you look back, you know, don't ignore this stuff. I mean, there's a big drama story that, you know, something happened with the weather here, or the fish in the rivers freaking all beached themselves, or the whales beached themselves on California coast, or it's they had the all-time worst floods, or they had the all-time worst drought. Then the news is over with. But look back over the last several years. Weather patterns are getting wacky as all hell, man. It's really unusual, and there is something going on. And you know, I put a lot of faith into what. Now, I call them Eskimos. I think they're called Intuit Indians. I think that's the proper name, but nobody knows what the hell. When I say Intuit Indians, nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. I'm talking about Eskimos. They are great hunters and fishermen, and they understand how to navigate by the stars and the winds and the snow drifts because of the prevailing winds. They say everything has changed in the last several years. Everything, even the stars aren't in the right position. And I don't know why that is. You know, that's crazy. But, you know, you got to listen to what they're saying, because I have more faith in people like that than I have in a PhD that's telling me something, because somebody could be paying him to tell me something. They're honest, and they observe this stuff. Now, me, I don't look up in the sky and observe the stars or the moon or anything like that. You know, I might see there's a moon up there every freaking few months because I've glanced upward. You know, I don't like look at that stuff. You know what I mean? I figure it's up there, right? But they're telling you stuff is off. They're telling you stuff is off. So we may be due for something to happen. Not that I hope it's going to happen, but you should prepare. You should prepare. Don't ignore it. Don't be like an ostrich. And at the same time, don't be a worrywart about it. Because I think, you know, all these idiots that put out all this drama about the skies falling so many times, you're almost like the boy that cried wolf. And one of these days, the wolf is going to be there, and nobody's going to be prepared because they heard this crap so many times. So you should prepare and, you know, do your stuff, you know. So, but I don't know. I think there's something coming up. It may not be right away, but there's something coming up. But there's predictions out there. I just want to repeat again. I don't know. The cat, he don't know. If something happened with the Mayan calendar, Both these cats would be under the bed hiding. I know that they would be. I'd be like digging out the cat food supplies that I got stored up for a year, so they'll be living. I don't know about the humans though. Anyway,